Oh, well, guys, I woke up in Vegas. I know it seems very unlikely why I drive all the way back to Vegas, but last night I was pretty stressed out. Yesterday took kind of a toll on me having to go from place to place to place. And even though I kept a really positive attitude, I was just like, you know what? I don't know what I'm gonna do, so I need to go and find myself a plan. And so today I'm waking up in Vegas. It was really nice of Riley's family to say, just come back here, it's fine. You can stay for the night, get your bearings, and then go off into a different direction. And I was planning on just going to a campsite, but it's kind of difficult to camp in Kingman now because of some of the things that have been happening. I was informed by a couple of ladies that worked at one of the stores that no longer allows parking that there have been a lot of violence against women there. And I'm not saying as a whole that's how Kingman is going to stay, but after having gone there the first time and kind of got a weird vibe about it, and then also having had that news, I was just like, okay, maybe I just don't camp here for a bit. And so when I ended up having to go back there yesterday, I was like, okay, now I gotta go find a new place. And around that area, I'm not as familiar with the outlying areas because I've always just used it as a hub where I could stay at like the Cracker Barrel or like one of the truck stops. So instead of going out and trying to explore and find something, right after I had the unnerving experience of having one of the washes poke a hole in one of my tires, I was like, you know what? We're just gonna have a woo-saw moment and I'm just gonna go to Riley's. So I wake up this morning and now I have been able to kind of map out some ideas, and I think what we're going to do is fill in some of the blanks from the time that I was here last, which was just a little short time ago. There's a few places that I found kind of on my way out that I wanted to stay and do, but I couldn't stay at the campsite that I wanted to because someone decided that they wanted to pop up and say, hey, I know where you're staying. I'm going to come out there and camp with you. Please guys, don't do that. I know it sounds really tempting if you know that somebody's in your area, but if someone doesn't know you, especially with a situation like I had in the past, it can be a little unnerving when a random person just shows up and is like, hi, I know everything about you from the internet, but at the same time, you know nothing about me. And so I just was like, I think I'm going to keep it moving. And that's what pushed me on to Rhyolite, which I'm so happy that I went. But now I get to go back and do some of those things. So with that, it's time for us to have an adventure. Okay, I just brought my things out to the van. I'm saying goodbye to Riley again. Yeah. It's like Groundhog Day, Riley.
Yeah, you just keep coming back.
I mean, yeah, because why not? Anywho, so I'm all packed up. I'm ready to go. We have an adventure. Goodbye, Riley. Come join me camping.
I will, if I get my edit done.
You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
My friend.
Wow, you punched me in the ear.
Of course, it's not actually goodbye. It's just see you later always. But it's just like an ongoing joke that we just continue to say goodbye. Like bye, and then hi, and then bye, and then hi. I promise this time, guys, I'm not coming back to Vegas after I leave. Well, at least for a little bit. I kind of have a plan that might bring me back to Vegas, but we'll talk about that later on the channel. But it's time for me to get in the van, and we're off to an adventure. I have a place for us to go today. Today's gonna be a day in the life on this particular video, but check out tomorrow's video for the full, activity. I'll show you a few clips today, but first we gotta drive all the way across Vegas, and that doesn't sound like a bad thing to somebody who's far away, but when you've been in the Vegas traffic, you know. If you know, you know. So cross your fingers, wish me luck. Oh no! Okay, I just arrived. I'm about to get out, taking care of business right now. Just trying to make sure I have everything kind of taken care of. It's pretty windy out here, so I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm very excited. This is a newer state park here in Nevada, and it looks pretty cool. It looks really cool. So I'm trying to put on a little extra sun protection because it's pretty sunny today. I have on, of course, my glasses, grab my tripod, and we'll see what happens. Again, tomorrow's episode could be interesting because it's pretty windy. So wish me luck, guys. Wish me luck. In the meantime, I am very, very excited. It took me about 30 minutes to get over here, and I was just listening to some different music. And one of the things that I like to do is just put my playlist on random because it's so random. And one of the songs that came up, there's just one line in there that resonated with me today. So I think today's song of the day is going to be Status Symbol by Nipsey Hussle. Now, a lot of the song, again, maybe not for everybody, and that's okay, but there is this one part of the song that kind of resonated, and it was, I almost forgot what I was doing, and that's how I felt yesterday. I literally was just swirling around, what am I doing? What inspires me? And I think that sometimes whenever you're on the road as much as I am, you can easily get to a place where you're just okay, I've done all these things, but there's all these other things to do. Where do I need to even start? And I think that's kind of why my brain just needed a reset so I could get back into something. And immediately this morning, I was I know exactly what I want to do. I know exactly where I want to go. I know kind of what I want to get into. And it was just so clear. So clarity came. So Nipsey Hussle, Status Symbol. Yeah, that part. Okay, I came back from the wind. It's super windy outside, like aggressively windy. Really cool sight though. I really enjoyed it. And on top of that, I picked up a new patch. So I'm gonna go ahead while I'm sitting here and put that up so I can be finished with that and I don't have to worry about it later. Today is a good day. Today is such a good day. At the same time, today is a very, very hard to be outside day. So that changed kind of my thoughts on what I might also do today because, hang on, let me get some stuff for the patch. Okay, we're back in business. Yeah, it changed kind of my thoughts on today a little bit because I had another couple things that I wanted to do outside. However, it is so windy that I couldn't even hear myself think outside. So I decided that instead of doing that, I would pivot a little bit. I know I have to go to the grocery store, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some groceries. I have been wanting this one thing for a bit, and I think I'm gonna share how I'm gonna make it on an upcoming video because it probably won't be right now. But I've been kind of wanting to do this one thing. So I'm going to go to the good grocery store selection of Vegas because they have like so many grocery stores and I'm going to pick it up. And then I'm also going to look for a couple other things because I need to kind of address that some of the stuff that I have needs a couple things to go with it. So now that I've taken inventory the other day when I was in Havasu and I kind of had already made a plan, I'm just going to follow through with that plan because ultimately, I gotta eat. So that's what's going to be my next part of my agenda, since it's way too windy to do the other thing. I also thought about going up to Mount Charleston because Mount Charleston currently has snow on it, and I thought it would be really cool just to the snow. I've been up there once before. In one of my earliest adventures, I went up there with Kenny, and the problem was that we didn't exactly know where we were going when we took this hiking trail. We were trying to go to Mary Jane Falls. The problem was the trail in the snow, super hard to find. So we ended up taking this side quest. It was beautiful, but we never made it to the falls area. So I thought, it would be great to go back up there just to like live that moment of snow on Mount Charleston, but currently they have a snow chain warning, so that's not going to happen. I will say that's one thing in my adventure kit that is lacking, so at some point I do need to get some just in case I'm ever in a weird place where I have to have them, so I'm not just like, oh, what do I do now? But at the same time, do I normally go in snow? Absolutely not. That is a big no-no from me. But since I've gotten the patch hung up, since I've kind of established that there are some things that I definitely need to do, I need to clean these, and then I think I'm gonna do the grocery store. Mount Charleston's out, that's fine. I can't go to Red Rock without a reservation. It's the weekend, so it's harder to get those, so I probably won't be going over there. And again, it's outdoors, so that wouldn't be the best with these winds. But I am optimistic that there are some other things to do here, so I am going to get my Google thumbs a working and see if there's anything I can find that I could do today. If not, if there's something I could do tomorrow. I might as well make the most of the time that I am here in the Vegas area just because I'm back. So even if that just looks like me going out to camp and doing some little stuff that I need to do, that would be okay. But I'd prefer to go on some more adventures. Every time I come to Vegas, I try to knock a few things off my list, and my list is long, but unfortunately a lot of that list is outdoor stuff. So could I do a good casino walk? Oh yeah, I could. I could show you guys all the cool stuff at the casinos. At the same time, that's more fun if I do it with a friend, and Riley's working. So I don't know. I don't know what I want to get into, but we will figure it out. We will figure it out. So grocery store, I need to map it. I gotta map it. Also, there's my new patch, the Ice Age Fossils State Park. Really cool site. Ooh, this looks good. I think I'm gonna have to get these because this would be better than me buying onions and them going bad. Okay, everything is in the fridge. I picked up some more spinach because I really want to do this like special thing with some chicken and some spinach and some sun-dried tomatoes. I made a concession for a glass bottle, but I'm padding it in here at the top so it's nice and padded so nothing happens to it, and everything fits inside, so we are good to go. I'm really proud of how well I did at the store. However, I just realized I missed something in one of the bags. Oh no, let me go grab it. Got it. I had left my green beans in there. The other day, whenever I was talking about finishing off those potatoes, I was like, ooh, this would be really good with some green beans. So I picked up just enough to fit in the air fryer with potatoes and sausage. So this is gonna be a very easy dish to finish those out because I need to use those potatoes before they go weird. So I have pre-planned my next like few meals at least. I'm going to do some wraps because those are nice and easy. So I thought I could do some chicken Caesar wrap just because that's a delightful something with spinach. Anytime that I purchase spinach, I know that I'm in for an investment. I have to use use it very quickly, otherwise it's going to turn. And I don't like to just do salads. Sometimes I'm in the mood for a salad, but other times I'm in the mood for something a little different. So I figured with the chicken Caesar wraps, I can use some of the spinach in there and get lots and lots of good nutrients, because that spinach is delightful. It's so good for me. And then also I figured that I could do some of the little flatbreads. So I kind of want to make a chicken pesto flatbread. So I have a little bit of pesto left. So I didn't want to buy some more yet, but I probably will buy some more pesto if I like these. So I'm going to use up the rest of that pesto that I made the soup with the other day, and then I'll have little flatbreads. I bought some naan for that because I really like how that they fry up in the air fryer. So I have everything that I need for a few meals at least. And like I said, I'll probably end up getting some more pesto if I like it, but that'll give me some balance between the potatoes and the spinach and then the green beans, getting a few more veggies in my life, because unless I remember to go to the grocery store after I eat through my buffer of veggies, I'm just kind of like, okay, what do we got? I also decided I wanted to get some healthy snacks. So I decided I would try something that our friend Shanine had told me about. They have all these little flavored rice cakes and like rice chips. And so I decided to try them. We'll see if I like them. I figured that I got the ones that are the apple cinnamon, so I could have something for breakfast in the morning, because I haven't been staying on top of my breakfast. I've just been go, go, go. And so I figured that's a good breakfast. So I'll have something that's light but delightful. And then I have some of the little chips in case I want like a snack somewhere along the line. So I'm trying to do a few things here and there just to kind of see what I like and what I can work with. But also I just had that craving for the pesto thing. So I just needed to modify around that, because it does revolve around that spinach. So that's kind of how I grocery shop. I figure out something that really sounds good and then I buy for it, but then I try to figure out what else I can use those ingredients for, so I'm not just eating the same thing over and over. I think I have a good balance right about now. And I already had some tortillas in the back that I need to use. So normally I would do like the really nice, like high protein tortillas or something. I didn't do that today. I just need to use the tortillas I already have, so it will be fine. I also in my fridge already have some other meats that I could use, so I can just mix and match and go for broke on it. And worst case scenario, I can have a salad. So with that, I have to figure out what I want to do next. I've been kind of talking to Riley all day, and funny story, we were kind of thinking about maybe she might be able to join me camping again before I leave the Vegas area, because I still want to stay in the Vegas area for at least a couple days, because there's some stuff that I'm kind of like working through when it comes to like the internet, and I have more reputable internet here in Vegas than I will when I go out into more remote spaces. So I'm trying to get all of that squared away. Maybe there will be some more adventures if the wind dies down. I just don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like. We also talked about if possibly I'm still here on Monday, which is in like 2 days, that we might go do an unhinged adventure. Also, someone just pulled up beside me, and I usually don't show cars because like that's somebody's car, but I'm not going to show their tag, but this is cool. Isn't that interesting? I haven't seen a wrap quite like that. That's pretty cool. I had thought about wrapping the van at one point, and I might still. A lot of people have asked me about if I would ever consider painting the van or doing something to it, and there's a pro and a con to it. On one hand, the pro is it would look really cool, like that car over there. Look at that. On the other hand, though, it makes it super recognizable, and if I'm trying to be a little bit more like, you know, stealthy. I'm not really stealthy because I have a roof box, but there's not really another word for that, like slide in, slide out kind of things, so that I'm not super recognized. It makes it a lot harder. One of the things that I noticed about when I had my signs was that people would instantly want to use that as a communication place, and that's normally fine because I like to talk to people. But after I had the weird thing happen with the guy last year, I started to really realize the importance of just kind of looking like every other van out there, and how that could be helpful and actually more safe, especially whenever I'm sleeping in places. Because if you are very, very, very noticeable, like this car over here, and then you happen to be in a sleeping spot like a truck stop or a park or just like a random place in the middle of nowhere, and somebody recognizes it, it does kind of lead people to think, oh, I know that person, I can just go knock on their door. And again, when you're solo, that's kind of strange. I know there's been a few times where I've had people who have been out and about and seen where I'm camping and stuff, like at a state park, and they've said hi, and that's no big deal because I'm in a nice protected space. However, if I am in the middle of nowhere and I am in one of those random places that I don't have cell service, that can be a little unnerving. And so I just don't know. I mean, if I was always caravanning or things like that, I probably wouldn't mind as much, but I do a vast majority of my travels solo, so just don't know if that's safe, you know? And those are things that you got to think about. If you want something super, super cool and funky, that is awesome. I too would love something cool and funky, but does the pro outweigh the con? Creative expression versus safety. Those are things that you don't think you have to think about until you have something weird happen and realize, oh, yeah, I probably do need to think about that. So yeah, would I love it? Absolutely. Do I think something like this would look awesome on temples? Yeah, I do. But I also be like really nervous though if somebody came up to me at like 11:30 at night at a campsite, because that has happened before whenever I've camped with like D and everybody recognized her old van. Yeah, it just gets weird. And like, we're regular people, so like it feels even more weird when it's like one of those things like that, because most people, the vast majority of people that I have met have all just been super nice, super cool, and also would never approach at like 11:30 at night or pull in beside you and just camp with you and then the next morning be like, hi. However, I have had that happen and it's not cool. I would rather somebody like hit me up and be like, hey, I think I saw you camping. Is it okay if I say hi? And then me be like, yeah, sure, cool. I'm over here. Awesome. In a non-weird way. I understand though that it like doesn't necessarily always translate as to being weird, and I've really assessed how I address people also, because there's some creators that if I ever got the opportunity to like high five meet them, I would be like, hey, you're really cool, I enjoy your content. At the same time, it's made me really take a step back to be like, is this gonna be something that weirds them out? Because, you know, I understand they might have a similar situation to me and I don't want to be on that side of it, and that part stinks because I'm a super social person. Okay, so I'm coming out on a weekend, and as I was driving out, there were tons of people camping, and I was like, oh no, my little spot's gonna be gone. And I came by a bunch of spots and they were gone, and more spots and they were gone, and then I got here and it's not gone. So I'm back. This should look pretty familiar, and it looks like it's in the same shape it was whenever I left, which is awesome. But even more weird is all of these little berries are still in a circle. That is bizarre, because I haven't been here in a bit, so that's weird, right? But we made it. It's definitely pretty chilly out here, and from this campsite I have a pretty cool view of the mountain in the distance there. That looks epic. So what I figure I'll do is I'll settle in. I'm going to get myself organized a little bit. I have to kind of work out a few little things on planning. I think that I'm going to stick around this region for a couple days, because there's a couple other things again that I have to address and take care of. And I think if I can stick it out till Monday, Riley and I are going to do that thing. We've been talking about it. It could be fun. It could be the next unhinged version of the crazy things that we do. You guys seem to like that and had a good laugh at it. So, you know, why not? Mine as well. Right now it's crisp out here, and I'm definitely probably going to have to use my heating blanket again, which I haven't had to use for the past, I don't know, 2 weeks probably now at this point. So it'll be interesting. It'll be really interesting, but I'm really happy that I made it out here and that everything is good. Today started off with one of those things where I was like, okay, this is a reset. What am I going to get into? And I figured out some things really quickly and then allowed myself the grace to be able to kind of maneuver as I needed to. And I'm really happy that I did, because it made everything possible to kind of fall into place to get here. Here's a peaceful place. Here's a quiet place. And here's a place that I can really enjoy a good camp. So with that said, I gotta put my window covers up, and this is always weird. Okay, I'm almost finished with my organizing. This view does not get old. I have things put kind of into place. I still have to figure out a home for these things and then those two. But I think I have a little bit of room on my shelf for at least the soup and the onion. I just have to continue working on that though. I have my laundry all put away though. So now it comes down to the little stuff. I get to put away these last few things, and then I get to figure out what I'm going to have for dinner out of my new options, or if I'm going to make that potato and sausage dish just to finish out those things. I do know that if I do that, I need to get my green beans cut down so that they can be nice and delicious. One thing that I do wish that I would have gotten though, if I'm going to do the green beans, is I wish I would have gotten some chili chili oil. Ooh, that would have been delightful. And who knows, maybe I'll save that for tomorrow and then I'll go get some chili oil at the store. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't decided. It's still a little bit too early to eat, but I'm going to kind of start stewing over those ideas. And in the meantime, finish up some things. I need to download some stuff on my computer, get myself ahead. I was going to do a live, but my service just isn't good enough here to do that. It wouldn't sustain a good quality for you guys. So instead, I think I'm just going to just kind of wind it down a little bit. I could use a good winded down day where all I do is I just stare at my computer for like the next 4 hours and get kind of ahead. So that might be what I end up doing. I'm just not sure yet, but the air is crisp and it feels delightful. It's so nice here. I love this. I feel so much different than I did only 24 hours ago, and that just goes to show that simply by changing your location and your mindset, you can really get through some stuff. A lot of people would be really, really genuinely upset whenever the tire situation happened and just stew in it for days and days, or just think, okay, well, there's that. I can't do all these things now. And instead, what I did was I looked at that as a challenge where, okay, yeah, now I am down a little bit of money, but at the same time, what else can I do that's not going to cost me an arm and a leg? Today's attraction that I went to was $5. That was it. $5 and some gas. And it was absolutely epic. And I got so many new brain wrinkles. And then there were a few other things I was looking at possibly doing if there's no wind that could be absolutely free. So there's so many cool things that are out there. You just have to kind of look for them. Again, I always use a few different websites and apps that are just common to me, but you can find these things simply by Googling and looking up what's in my area or what's in this area or best things to do for free. And you can find all sorts of cool stuff. I definitely encourage you guys not to limit yourself by the mindset of scarcity. If you don't have it, that doesn't mean that you can't do some things. That just means that you have to be more creative in how you do it. And that's what started me on the channel, was thinking, okay, I have a very small budget. How far can we stretch it? And now we're here all these years later, still doing those things and finding really cool stuff to share together. With that, I got some things I want to show you. First and foremost, Arizona teas. Normally these are 99 cents. I got them for 68 cents at the Winco. Just showing that once again, Winco comes through. These are the little rice cake chip things that I found. These are Buffalo Ranch. I don't know how these are going to taste. We'll find out. If I like them, I'll buy more of them. But these are what Shanine had kind of suggested to me a while back that she was trying out. She was getting just these and then the rice cakes themselves, which got them. These are actually a really good grab and go, so I thought these could be good for like breakfast. And then look on here, they're like 50 calories a piece. So not terrible for a morning something, but at the same time, something versus nothing. Because again, I struggle with eating morning food for some reason. If you've been along for the channel for a while, you know that this has been an ongoing struggle for me. I prepare breakfasts and freeze them just so that I can have something I can throw in the Hot Logic or the Road Pro, just so I can have food. But even that, sometimes I just completely forget they exist. So these are what I'm going to turn to whenever I forget that those exist, because I don't want to be getting weird because I'm like, oh, let's go. And then I get to lunch and I'm like little birds floating around my head, you know? So I thought these would be good. And again, they came from a suggestion from our friend Shanine. So we'll see if we like them. I haven't had one of these in a million years, so I thought they're flavored at least. So that's good. And I found these single packs of Caesar dressing so that I can use these for my chicken Caesar salad wraps. I thought that that was going to be a good way for me to have some Caesar dressing without having a huge bottle that I then have to worry about, because getting these as 3 separate ones, if I have 2 wraps and that's all the spinach I have left for, then I didn't want to be left with like half a bottle and then have to go buy more. So instead, I just bought these so I can portion them correctly. Is this as cost effective as just buying a bottle? No, it is not. However, is this going to save me a lot of energy, effort? Yes, it is. So normally I wouldn't do one of these, but I found this to be just a smarter option this time. As I've traveled, there are certain things I will get in single portions, like honey and stuff like this when I can find it. It just makes life a lot easier overall, and it takes a lot less stress of trying to move things around in my fridge and constantly cycle through a bottle that I may or may not want a huge thing of. I do like this brand, so I thought this would be a quality thing I could have. So I'll just make this with like tortilla, spinach, chicken, a little bit of like feta cheese in this. It'll be delightful. It'll be good, and it'll be good for me. And so that's the big thing, is just whenever I'm selecting what it is that I'm trying out, I try to have some kind of rhyme and rhythm. I try not to to just like eat bad stuff all the time. It's really easy to turn to bad stuff and just eat bad stuff all the time whenever you're on the road because it's quick grab and go. But I try not to do that. That's why I also create ways for me to heat up food as I'm driving with the Road Pro and then also the Hot Logic, so I can have quality foods or better foods in an easier way sometimes. But sometimes even that becomes overwhelming. So a wrap. We can't go wrong with a wrap. I also had to buy a gallon of water because they didn't have a refill station. It's okay. I don't like to do this, but it's fine. I'll make sure that I have it all drank up by the time that I leave Vegas, and then I will try to find a place that I can pop this into recycling since they actually do have recycling here. See how that works out, but that's the goal. I always try to get the refillables whenever I can, and there's probably a store around Vegas that had it, but at the store I had, for some reason, the refill wasn't working at the time. So it is what it is. Can't really do anything about that. Not going to stress about it. I have to have water no matter what. So I have fulfilled that. But yeah, that's just kind of how my life works. And while I was out and about today, one of the best things about it is kind of echoing off of something we talked about before. A lot of people constantly ask, do you ever get lonely? Are you ever just out there by yourself and you feel just kind of gloomy? No, not really. I talked to so many people today. Whenever I went to the attraction that I went to, I spoke to the girl who works there for about 10 minutes, unrelated to the attraction. We just had a good conversation about just life and stuff. Same thing when I was at the grocery store. Nobody was behind me and I was talking to the little lady who was checking out my groceries, and we talked about all sorts of things. She gave me some recommendations for places I could go in Vegas. We chatted about what it is that I do and what it is that she likes to do. And I think that if you're willing to take the time and just talk to people, you never have to be bored or lonely. You can always find people somewhere. And I think that that's the greatest part of being on the road, is you do get to interact with so many new people. Now, I understand some people are introverts and they don't feel comfortable doing that. But if you're not an introvert, there's really no reason for you to ever feel lonely on the road. So if you're thinking about traveling full-time, traveling part-time, traveling at all, and you're worried about like the social aspect of that, I wouldn't worry. Not only were there great people out all day, but also there's so many different kinds of things. Look at the thing that Riley and I did in a few videos back whenever we went to the singles thing. It was just something that anybody could do. You sign up. So whenever you go to a place, if you're going to be there for a couple of days, look up the interactive events that you can do with other people. There's so many options. And so, yeah, I think that that kind of is just a testament to like the awesome thing of just being on the road and traveling in general. You never have to worry about those things. Now, close interaction, I can understand. You're not going to make a bestie in like 2.5 minutes like maybe I would, because I'm super social. But at the same time, you have to be the person who is willing to make the effort to do the thing that you want to see done. If you want to talk to somebody, you have to talk to somebody. If you want to have a conversation about something serious, you have to put yourself in a position to have a serious conversation by going to a place where that might apply. Sometimes that can be difficult, but there's tons of ways that you can do that through the social interactions, through gatherings, through just going into communities and finding out what they're about, talking to people at different places, asking them for suggestions. And don't worry, you don't have to do it in a way that makes you feel unsafe. You don't have to be like, I'm a solo traveler. You don't ever have to say that. You just have to be like, yeah, I travel with some friends around the country and it is what it is. That's it. That's it. You don't have to tell them where you're staying, when you're getting there, that you're by yourself, anything. You don't even have to tell them like your real name if you don't want to. You could tell them like your nickname. You could engage with them in a way that you don't have to share a name. Like, just don't limit yourself. And that's the bigger picture of everything that I do on the channel, is everything that I do is to show you guys that, you know, life is fun, life is amazing, and life is short. So we need to live it while we're here. With that said, I'm going to finish up figuring out where all this goes. I'll see you guys on the next one. It's been fun, but I have some work to do. So remember, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time. And what are we getting into tomorrow? I just don't know yet. Bye.